where a confrontation between Sofia and Tsar Peter I over the crown is taking place. How do you think this fight will turn out?
Peter is a mere pawn. With the Streltsy on my side, he can never win. I've been in power ever since they helped me purge Peter's family out of power. I hold all of the real power, and neither Peter nor Ivan can stop me.
Why are you fighting this battle?
The Streltsy and the Russian people are tired of Sofia's weak leadership. That's why they are defecting to me in droves. I will win and reclaim the throne for myself.
Here we are with the new Tsar Peter I right now. How does it feel to be in power, Peter?
It feels great. I'm tired of being a puppet of Sofia. She has been making all the decisions since I was 5. She did a terrible thing when she started spreading a rumor that my family had something to do with the previous Tsar's death. I still think about the day that the soldiers dragged my family members away and killed them all. But finally, I will take my legitimate spot on the throne.
Tsar Peter, what do you hope to achieve, and what is your biggest goal as the Tsar of Russia?
Russia needs to be brought out of the Dark Ages. We are one of the largest countries in the world, yet we're among one of the least advanced empires in the whole world. Western Europe has had the Renaissance and the scientific revolution already, but that never reached us because of the boyars refusing to change. Russia needs to be modernized, and that is my top priority.
How will you try to achieve this goal?
Well, first, I'm planning to modernize the Russian army and to establish Russia as a naval powerhouse. I'm considering a visit to the West to see if I can gain any knowledge and see how they run their empires and see if I can apply that to my own empire. Hopefully, it'll help me and Russia improve our standings in the world internationally.
I see you want to go west, young man. But in all seriousness, how do you think the nobility will react to the changes you're implementing?
Well, I think it might be hard to get them to realize that what I'm doing is for the better sake of Russia. But I hope that they'll realize that I'm trying to make Russia as great as the countries of Western Europe. I want to be the absolute monarch of this land, so I'll reduce the power of the nobles by demanding taxes, military service, and labor from them. I'll also force them to westernize their attire and mannerisms.
Well, that seems like a good way to increase your power over the people of Russia.
Of course, but I'm not done there. I'll also control the economy by raising and introducing new taxes and industries, making serfs into slaves, and claiming even more influence in the government by reorganizing it and putting myself at the head.
Wow, you seem to be a very busy person, Peter. Thank you, Tsar Peter, for your time. I will leave you to accomplish these goals that you have set out for yourself.
Of course. Thanks for your time.
Tsar Peter, what does the future have in store for Russia? Peter, give us a good idea for what's to come. I know you've just returned from the Grand Embassy of Europe, a 2-year tour of Europe. You claim that you want Russia to be more like the West, and you want to push it to the modern age. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Do you mind telling us exactly what you did on this trip?
Well, many things to be exact. I did a lot of things. I traveled across Western Europe, and I learned quite a few things. For example, I studied printing and iron making, along with dentistry and anatomy. The greatest ability I gained is shipbuilding, which I learned from the Zaandam in Netherlands. And I was even allowed to work in the biggest shipyard that belonged to the Dutch East India Company. I visited major cities throughout Europe like Leipzig, Dresden, and Vienna, and I even spoke to Leopold I, the Holy Roman Emperor.
Wow, impressive, Tsar Peter. You seem to have learned a lot about the West during the Grand Embassy. But what made you come back here to Russia?
Well, I wanted to continue my travels across Europe and expand my knowledge, but I had to come home because of a rebellion. I needed to crush the Streltsy rebellion before it got out of hand. I will not tolerate retaliation from my people. I need to be able to control my country to the fullest ability in order to make it move forward into the modern age. Hopefully these traitors will be publicly executed and will serve as a message to others who think that they disagree with me.
How do you hope to use what you've learned to modernize Russia and
Well-
get a power for the future?
Well, first of all, I want to realize my dream of making Russia have a world-class navy that would compare to the Netherlands. The Great Embassy gave me a lot of knowledge of how to create a navy, so I'll spend my days in the shipyards teaching my subjects how to build ships since we don't have a naval base. I will try to claim the Baltic coast and build a courtyard there, but the Swedes currently have control of all of the Baltic coast.
Those damn Swedes.
That's true. In order to maintain power in Russia, we need to capture the Baltic coast from those Swedes.
Well, it's almost time to end, Tsar Peter.
Please stop. Call me Captain Peter.
Okay, Captain Peter. What are your views on religion?
Religion. I believe that religion can be used to strengthen my power. This is why the Patriarch of Moscow was replaced by my holy council called the Holy Synod, who cracked down on religious dissent. I also imposed a beer tax on the old believers.
Beards? What do beards have to do with modernization?
Many church members have had long beards, as is customary for the past centuries. However, Russia is moving forward, and beards are a symbol of the past. There is no place for medieval customs in this new Russia.
Thank you very much for your time, Peter. I have learned a lot more about you since the last time we met. Breaking news! The Great Northern War has been concluded, and Russia stands as clear victor. The Treaty of Neustadt will give Russia many new lands and territories, and will be a huge achievement of your reign. Lasting over 20 years, this war will serve to finally give Russia a strong claim to the Baltic coast, and will give Russia the opportunity to build and maintain one of the strongest navies in the world and make it a world power. Today we have Tsar Peter with us once again, and he is going to give us a quick rundown of what this means for Russia in the future.
This is a monumental victory for Russia. We had a rough start with Charles II because he was victorious the first time we fought, despite being outnumbered 5-1. But he became too cocky after that defeat, and I never gave up. They thought they could defeat us, but they were wrong. Thanks to my effort of building the navy, fortifying the border, and maintaining a very disciplined fighting force, we were able to crush Charles XII and likely end Sweden's role as a major world power once and for all. I'm especially glad about the establishment of our new capital, named after me, St. Petersburg, and all of my nobility are beginning to move there. I can finally create the modern capital that Russia deserves. We have straightened streets and magnificent buildings that can match the great cities of the Western civilization.
Just wondering, Tsar Peter, how did you manage to create such a city?
Well, I asked peasants and soldiers and prisoners of war to build this great city. My nobility kindly moved here and built beautiful homes, and my magnificent palace, Peterhof, is the best place that ever existed.
We're here with Peter the Great on his deathbed. We're here for one last interview where Peter will tell us how he made Russia an absolutist state. Peter, how did you do it?
Of course. My first major achievement to improve Russia as a country was...
No, Peter, no! Are you okay?
Yes, much better. Thank you. Where was I? I'm proud of what I've done. By returning the government and establishing myself as the true ruler of this land, I became an absolute monarch. I quelled all the rebellions against me, weakened the power of the nobility, and I turned Russia into a very powerful nation.
Peter the Great is clearly dying, and he is sure to perish very soon. Tsar Peter, who will replace you as the next Tsar, absolute ruler of Russia?
Another good question. I've thought of that for a long time, and I've decided on my answer. Leave it all to...
No, not again. I am sad to report that Tsar Peter the Great has died. He has not named a successor, meaning that we are now plunged into a succession crisis and likely a civil war. This is a sad and dark day for Russia, the great country that he helped to make a world power.